going to show you how to get the new exotic scout rifle from the new secret mission in the deep dive activity. The exotic scout rifle is called Wicked Implement. So I'll just quickly read out what the perks are on the gun and everything. So it's got corkscrew rifling, accurized rounds. So Tivan Harvest, it states, precision final blows while creeping attrition is active, create a stasis shard that returns to you. Collecting stasis shards refills the magazine. And it's got fitted stock. The main perk of the gun, creeping attrition, rapidly random precision hits cause your targets to become slowed. So this gun sounds interesting. I will do some testing with it coming up, but I figured I would post up my first clear of me getting the gun first of all, so that you can see sort of how a run was done. I actually got it first run. My team I was with, we got it done first go. Only just. So you've got to have a decent loadout. What I figured, this isn't what I used. I figured because I'd seen roughly what the boss fight was like, I knew Witherhoard was going to be top contender in this fight. So one of your fire team members needs Witherhoard on, I recommend. So we had an Arc Warlock, which is me. We had a Void Hunter, and we had a Strand Warlock. The team composition, funnily enough, ended up being all right. Right? For heavy usage, I recommend a machine gun. Because of how the boss works, you're moving about a lot. Either a machine gun or a sword. Lament might work out really good in this. Acrius would work out really good in this, I imagine. But I was like, I'm on Witherhoard, so I use Witherhoard and a good primary. I won't go too much into my build and everything, but I use the general Chaos Reach Arc Warlock setup because Arc Warlock's crazy at the minute. So that's just roughly the setup that I had on. But obviously, you're going to want to know how to get it. So the biggest thing is you do not need 3 exotic fish to start this. As long as someone in your fire team has 3 exotic fish, you're good. I only had 1, right, at the time. So I just had the other fire team members had enough fish. So you don't need all the 3 yourself, so you can rely on other people. And then obviously then you start up deep dive. So you'll see the footage coming up. So these are the steps that you want to do. Load up deep dive, obviously, and then the first statue is located right at the beginning of the activity when you jump down. One note is that any buffs that you pick up in deep dive will not translate to the secret mission. They won't work. So if you get Arc Empowerment, Arc Enhancement, whatever it's called, that ain't going to be working for you in that mission, just so you know. So the first statue is at the beginning of the mission, so just follow the route on screen. Because I know it's going to be difficult for people you need to know where the statues are, right? So I just thought I'd figured I'd show that in the video at least. So you just drop down here and then just follow the route on screen, basically. You'll activate that statue. Obviously you need somebody in your fire team with the 3 exotic fishes at the very least. I only had 1, as I've said previously, but other members in our team had more than me. So don't waste your time doing the fishes. Just honestly, LFG it. That's your best bet. Just LFG somebody with the fishes. The second statue, I didn't actually get it, but it's after the first encounter, right? It's where my fire team members are. In that room is where it is, where the statue is. All right, pretty straightforward. So it's after the first encounter, the second statue. The third statue is the drop-down section with the fan, after the fan section. If you've run deep dive enough, you will know what I'm talking about. So this is statue 3. So you get to the fan section, which naturally you will. You switch the fan off, you'll jump down, and it's like 10 seconds after the fan, you have the third statue. You go and do that. Then you'll do the next encounter, where there's powerful foes and all that. You don't have to do like a high tier on deep dives to get this mission. You just have to get past this second encounter. I think it's second anyways. I don't really play deep dive enough to know really too much about it, but once you get after the powerful force, it's right after this section, right? But just follow the route on screen, you'll see. Once you complete that section, don't go any further in the deep dive mission. I think you'd end up screwing it up. I haven't tried that to know, but obviously don't do that, right? Because this is meant to be like a secret mission. Not a secret mission, but, well, it is and it isn't. It's not secret because everyone knows about it, but it's not labelled on any road maps, the mission. So it is like a whisper type thing. So yeah, when you've finished that encounter, the Powerful Foes one, don't do the next objective like I was trying to there. Right, you go off to one side room and you got another 3 statues. You just activate all 3. I believe there's 3 in this room. Yeah, there's 3 just like there was. So you need to have all of these lit up, and that will then start the mission. Right? As I said about the team composition earlier on in the video, our team composition was Arc Warlock, because Arc Warlocks are nuts right now with Geomag Stabilizers. A Strand Warlock, right? And then a Invis Hunter. The Tether coming good, actually, not bad at all. So bear in mind, as I say, this is my first clear of the mission. You will get a timer after so long. So as the mission starts, you're going to have taken enemies. The enemies will be swords, right? They'll be sworded enemies, so they'll be like GM-ads. Maybe not as powerful as a GM-ad, but you know what I mean. They'll be the swords, not standard enemies, these. So don't worry about this start. The mistake that I've made is I spammed heavy in deep dive, and I shouldn't have done. So obviously I've got Retrofit Escapade on, which holds 400 plus ammo. I've only got 250, and I haven't even got max ammo for Witherhoard either, which could have helped the run. Honestly, it really could have helped the run. So there's no options for banners in this. Oh, there is. Sorry, no, there is. There's one option for a banner before the final boss, but getting to the final boss, there's no option. So drop down here, then you're going to have taken enemies spawn in. Like I say, don't worry about time right now, because time has not started. The timing's tighter than you think. Bear in mind though, we ran around, my fight team ran around not knowing what we were really doing. I ran around not really knowing what I was really doing, because I didn't even watch the full clear of it. I only seen somebody at the boss and knowing that the final boss was a tormentor. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. Notice when I killed the Minotaurs, I got Death Sharps, a buff on the left hand side, or Deathly Sharps, whatever it was called. That is teaching you that you're going to have to use this buff later. As soon as I saw that, and I saw that I lost the time, I was like, yeah, the game's teaching me what to do later on. Timer starts in this room, taking enemies. Spam everything you've got, save supers, because you're going to have to do boss damage, right, coming up in a minute. Kill all enemies, then shoot the... I believe that opens... I think you've got to shoot one of the... I don't know what those devices are called, where you open up the doors. Right, you shoot that, like we were a little confused here. So you shoot that. There might have been another one. I'm not sure if there was or not. But no, it was. I believe it was. So you just shoot that. And that should open up the door. Yeah, it has now. I was a little confused with that. I was like, what's going on? But anyways, the door has opened up, so I'm messing around here, wasting time. My fire team's doing the work. The boss has spawned in. I have Deathly Sharp on the left-hand side, but I believe it's not procced. So I've actually wasted a super here. So you can see how the timing's tight, but if you know what you're doing, like I've totally wasted the super there. So make sure that you've got your Deathly Sharps times 3. The buff doesn't actually start working. Like you can see I'm doing 5 damage. It doesn't start working. Like none of us have actually done damage properly yet. So two of us have wasted a super on the boss. So what you need to do is open up the door to let the enemies, right? So the enemies are locked behind a door. You need to open them up, shoot a node in middle. You can then get your Deathly Sharps. Right, so we got our Deathly Sharp times 3. There was a Minotaur killed over the other side of the map. With a Horde, I would have supered here, but obviously I haven't got that option, so I just use Retrofit. Snipers spawn on the outer skirts of the map. This isn't too bad, this little encounter. Like, imagine if we all had supers, which we should have done for the boss. And the boss would have been melted quicker than that. We would have easily saved 20 to 30 seconds. I've been reading on Reddit. Right, there's a thread on Reddit if you haven't looked, and there's people saying like they've unlocked the mission and stuff, but they haven't got the skill to do the mission. And I think it's because solo-wise, I mean that's a different thing. I haven't even thought about how you're going to even solo this in the time limit. But fire team-wise, if you've got a good fire team comp, if your weapons are spread out in such a way that your damage is good. Like I'm the Witherhoard user, so my concern is tick damage. And using my super, my Curse Reach when he's doing DPS phase. So now we've learned the buff. Or I don't even know if I have at this point because I've messed up so much already. But now you've learned the buff. You're just doing the same thing but for the Tormentor boss. The thing is, the hardest thing about it is getting your bearings. Like I didn't have a clue where I was going. But eventually what happens is 3 icons will come up on your screen. Kill icons telling you where the Minotaurs are. And there'll be 3. You can spread out your fire team and do 1, 1 and 1. But I actually don't recommend that. Because what ended up happening to us is one of my fire team members died during that phase and lost the Deathly Sharps buff. I thought it would have been team based, but I don't think it is. I think it's if you're alive and good when that buff happens, then it is. But if you die, you lose the buff. So that means that, well, I think so, or it was a bug, I don't know. But on phase 1 of damage, one of my fire team members couldn't do damage. They said they were getting immune numbers. So literally on my phase 1 of damage, me and the Frost guy was literally the only 2 people doing damage. Which just goes to show on how good our loadout was, especially with the Witherhoard and stuff, the tick damage, that we were still able to sort it. So that's what's happening, right? So we've got the Deathly Sharps. I use my super, but I get suppressed out of it. So I've learned that. So for the next phase, I ain't going to be doing my super so close to the boss. And I'll make sure that the boss is on someone else. This is the recommended time to be using your supers. Don't ever use your supers on the Minotaurs. Or Ag Clear. You don't need Ag Clear supers. You need DPS style supers. Thunder Crash, Tethers. Strand works really good in this. Our Strand Warlock was doing really well. See all the strand damage that he's doing. We're 5 minutes in. Got 5 minutes left. Like I said, if I ran this back with a full fire team of people who know what they're doing, we could probably speed run this in like 6-7 minutes and have 3 minutes left. And you'll probably see some speed runs being done as the mission gets more familiar to people. This was our first clear. It is what it's going to be. Obviously it's a Tormentor, so the usual rules apply. You get suppressed and stuff. The Deathly Sharps buff has ended, so when the Deathly Sharps buff ended, you need to rinse and repeat. I recommend that you try and free phase this boss, minimum, because you're gonna struggle otherwise if you don't, right? For time. So you need to be 3 or 2 phasing with your fire team. I could see 3 accuracies doing really well in this, like a Well of Radiance and just accuracy him. Like that would be an idea that would come to mind, because accuracy is like top contender for like CQC damage. I don't know if the Tormentor would crush you well though. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's just a suggestion. But this, as I said, this composition that I've got, this weapon loadout I've got on with the Witherhoard, the machine gun, it worked out good for me. And if I was to run it back, I probably would run the same weapons. I could have used well. I just figured instantly, yeah, let's go with Arc Souls. And I know how much damage, like especially on phase 2, I do quite a bit of damage with my, I think it's phase 2 or phase 3, I do quite a bit of damage with my super. It's this phase here. So just look at the chunking, right, that the Curse Reach is doing right now to the boss. In combination with the rest of the damage. So we've got our Deathly Sharps times 50 seconds, well 50 seconds left. So this is when you really want to get your damage up. Don't rely on Hammer Bonk build. He keeps suppressing you when you do that. I don't recommend it. Maybe have somebody with Tractor Cannon on if you want, but I honestly don't value it that much because I haven't run it personally, but I saw a streamer using Tractor Cannon with Hammer Bonk and he couldn't do anything because he kept getting suppressed. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm using Witherhoard. Witherhoard's going on right away. Even Anarchy wouldn't be too bad if you were going to use maybe like Slug Shotguns, Anarchy. That wouldn't be a bad idea either. So your DPS options change depending on what the encounter's like. This encounter's all CQC based. So naturally you're going to, you know, maybe want to use CQC stuff as opposed to linear fusion rifles. Like linear fusion rifles in this fight, I wouldn't recommend it. Boss moves out too much for your crits. You are rewarded with the crit damage on his belly. You'll get a lot of damage in. But why not just use accuracy instead? you'll still get a crit, and it'll be a lot of damage. So even 4 horsemen maybe, stuff like that. Lament, we know how good Lament is. 3 Laments could be the LFG strat, because there's always like an LFG strat that comes out for these types of activities in Destiny, if you like. So we're on our final phase. You can see he's got a 30 HP left. So this is literally going to be a done, it should be a done deal, but what you need to remember is I can still damage the Tormentor without Deathly Sharps. So if I was to have lost Deathly Sharps, right, this time that I've got now 55 seconds, and I've got 1 minute 40 seconds, that means I haven't got enough time to go and farm for another 3 Minotaurs. So even with my Deathly Sharps, well, our Deathly Sharps time of running out, we kill him with 0 seconds left on Deathly Sharps. But Wither Horde would have killed him anyways. The tick damage would have killed him anyways. We also had somebody with Osteo Strigger on, which I forgot to mention entirely. I don't know if we had 2 users with it or 1. Honestly, there was a lot going on. I don't know. I know we definitely had 1 at least. Used the super here. The boss sort of got out my super a little bit. We've got a tether here going as well. But this is like a Whisper-esque mission. It's got the same feels as it. Obviously, it was already data mined, so the secrecy goes away a little bit. But for me, that doesn't matter, because the experience of it was good enough for me to say this is decent. This is decent material. This. It's good content. Finally, how long has it took? Stuff like this should be in the game quite often. And if this is what they're going to do, and they're going to do more of this, then I don't think you should bash Bungie as much as you should. Maybe bash them for some things, yeah, but like if they're offering you some content like this, PvE wise, this is like golden content. This is the golden stuff that you want. I thought the checkpoint had bugged, but I was just going, I don't know what was going on. I thought maybe, I don't know what I thought, because the checkpoint marker's all over the spot, but it's behind me, and then there's like a statue. You go to the statue, and then you get the exotic scout to drop. Like I say, I do foresee teams struggling with this, definitely, but there will end up being a go-to strat, and I think it's going to be probably like 3 accuracies or 3 laments. Something like that. But honestly, really good mission, enjoyed it, but that was my first clear of this. Hope you enjoy, thank you.